welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, the tease in my lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right. What is going on? Hopefully you are doing well. Give it a stretch. Oh, that's good. All right. All right. All right. All right. Here we go. So, like I mentioned last break session, for this break session, I wanted to go back and take a look at the demo that I was trying to run last time. And I was running into a bunch of issues because it was taking a long time to download the model, and it wasn't showing both. So it was a whole thing, but I think I got it fixed. But I did run into some issues. All right. So I wanted to talk about that because like right now, a lot of this stuff is like bleeding edge. So things are always changing. And so let me go ahead and show you some of the things because it's funny. Because I was like, well, this is weird. It was working. Like last week, the one thing that was working, but it broke this time. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So now I need to share my screen. I'm going to need to share this whole thing because everything I'm doing now is going to be in Google Chrome Canary. Because again, this is such like cutting edge stuff that it's in like the very early stages, and they put everything that into Chrome Canary. So any like brand new thing that's coming out that's probably going to break is in Chrome Canary. So if you want to like play around with stuff, then you can do that because it goes Chrome Canary, then there's Chrome Beta or Dev, I think, and then there's the regular stable one. And yeah, so I'm in Canary land right now. So let me share my screen. I need to share the whole entire. Can I just do it? No, I gotta do entire. Oh no, I can actually. Oh, that's cool. Even though it's another Chrome instance, I can share to that. I can share that window. That's pretty dope. So I don't have to do the entire screen. If I do tab, would that show up there too? No, I don't think so. I think it's just window and entire screen. Oh, something I learned new today. That's pretty dope. All right, so this is my Chrome Canary. Okay, and so when I was running because initially, I'll just show you the code. So initially, okay. Let me tell you the whole reason why I'm trying to do all this stuff, right? So in MCP, there's things called MCP tools. All right. So let me look. MCP tools. Let's see if it'll take me to the actual. No, that's not what I want to do. Tools. Okay, just search this, please. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, they kind of have a pretty good thing here. Oh, and they also say it here also. So we'll take a look at both. Now, everything I'm trying to do revolves around tools. All right, MCP tools. And as it says here, Model Context Protocol, MCP tools, are standardized executable functions that allow AI models, LLMs, to interact with external systems such as database, APIs, or local files to perform actions like querying data or running code. All right. They enhance AI capabilities by enabling dynamic real-world tasks. Cool. So what I was trying to do is get MCP tools running on a website. And they have that now. Again, this is what I've been working on. This is the very early thing here. Web MCP is available for early preview. So this is being able to, the same AI stuff. Let me see what they're saying here. Okay, basically the same thing as far as tools. All right, so this is from, let me put a link to all this stuff here. I'll post a link to everything I'm talking about. Well, that's just a Google search, but I'll post a link to these tools here. So this is MCP from actual MCP folks. All right. So it'll be next to the recording of the video. And I need to make, oh, wrong one, wrong window. Wrong way. All right. Okay. This one I want to make larger. All right. So yeah. So this kind of talks about MCP tools. So you can check this out. But this was a really good explanation here. All right. So I deal mostly with the web. All right. And I build tools for developers to be able to be available where they work, like in their own environments where it work, and be able to create on top of the stuff that I make for their projects. All right. And so with MCP tools, which I think is pretty cool, because we have MCP servers at my job that we help put together, right? And so in your environment, as you're chatting with your AI agent, right, you can say, I work at Vonage. I'm a JavaScript developer. I work at Vonage. So we do a lot of communication stuff. So we can say something like, send an SMS message to this person saying this. And it'll recognize through the MCP server that they have a tool to send an SMS. And with that tool, the AI knows, okay, I know what I need to do. I know the calls I need to make. I know how to make this happen, right? Using, the Vonage services. And so so that's like the tooling stuff. Then we have like a documentation server where it's an external server and it has like all the knowledge of all our documentation, everything in there, like code snippets, tutorials, everything, like everything. And you're able to ask questions inside of your MCP client, AI, IDE, whatever, and you can get the information back. So you don't have to leave, like while you're working on stuff, you don't need to go and like context switch to a whole nother place. You can get everything you need done in there, right? So with that being said, I want to try to take it to the web. So I've been looking at like, how can we put these on websites? So that's where WebMCP comes in, right? And so WebMCP is basically how we have those servers, right? Your website now kind of becomes the server. So if because previously, if a LLM AI model wants to know about your website, because they can browse the internet, it would have to like first scrape the site, see all the different DOM elements, try to figure out what the DOM elements do, all these other things, right? But with WebMCP, it allows your website to be like, hey, AI agent, this is what you can do on this website. And some of those things that you can do, you can expose tools, right? And so that's probably like the declarative part here. It's cool. So again, I wanted, thinking strictly through the web, how can I have people so now I'm thinking about when developers are building their projects, right? So now that the web through WebMCP and tools that you put onto the website, that how for like external AI models, well, what if the model is in the website? You know what I'm saying? And so a person is, chatting with a AI bot, chat bot, and using native like language, wanting to be able to, instead of the developer having to think of every possible way that a person could be asking a question, have the LLM or the AI model figure that out. It knows what tools are available on the page and then be able to do those things for the user. You know what I'm saying? So the developer doesn't have to think about all those things, right? So you just set a set of tools that the website can do, and then through that, let that be known to the AI agent, you know what I'm saying, the chat bot. And so that way it'll be able to figure out what the user is talking about and apply that to the website. So there's that, right? So a couple of ways that I wanted to be able to try and test how it would work, trying to call tools, right? So I created like just a sample app. Everything I do, I try to do like to-dos, because with that, you kind of run through all the different things, creating, updating, deleting, all that stuff through like a to-do app. So I created this here. So this is a to-do app, all right? I'm going to refresh it. And so you can kind of see I have Web LLM and Prompt API. So there's a few ways you're able to do this, right? So it's loading the model from cache. If it was loading from like brand new, it would take a while. And so while it's doing that, I wanted to talk MCP stuff, right? Now, since that is like an external, like in your MCP client, whether it be like an IDE or another browser, when it comes to this website, your website exposes the different tools and things that it can do, right? And so, for example, so to simulate that, the web MCP, they have a Chrome extension, right? I should probably, you have to be in the early program, the early, what's that called? The early preview program, EPP, I think that's what it's called. And let me see. Well, there's a link. So I have a link to the actual blog post. So that web MCP is available because that'll step you through how to actually be able to test this stuff out. All right. So I'm adding that. Cool. So now, as you can see here, so on this page, there are no MCP tools, right? So that's why nothing is loading up. But on the website that I created, the demo app, you can see it loads 6 tools. And so the tools are like add to do, clear to dos, delete to do, get to dos, and reply to user. All right. So now I put in my Gemini key, API key. So that's why here it gives you like a test prompt because it knows what the website is. It knows it's a to-do app because of the tools that it loaded. So it inferred like, okay, well, here, use this prompt to test it out. So add plan team offsite for next quarter to my task and show me all current to-do items. All right. So, and then you also can see here, if you want to do it manually, it shows you all the different to-dos here. And then you're able to put in whatever the input is and then execute the tool. But I'm just going to use this prompt here through Gemini API. All right. So send. And so it's going to do that. You can see here in my console, it's saying it's add to do. So we know what to do. It knows you need to add the to do, right? And so plan team offsite for next quarter. You see it popped up here. All right. And then also it knows that, hey, I need to get the to dos because that was in the prompt. And then you can see here, well, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of tiny, but you can see it listed them all. So it has the book, the flight, research hotels in Paris, Washington. So it has all of it there. You know what I'm saying? So that would be in your external MCP client. All right. So that's pretty cool. So that's working. All right. So you're calling the tools from the website to your external. Now, what I want to do is I have this chat assistant here, right? So I wanted to be able to, in the browser, not having to worry about external, you know what I'm saying? That's in the developer tools. I'm now concerned what developers are going to be creating on their projects, you know what I'm saying, in their applications. And it may be a chat assistant. And you want to be able to call the tools without having to try and figure out, okay, what is the person going to ask? How do I, map that to this tool, then this tool, and all these other things? Have the AI model figure that out for you. You know what I'm saying? So the first one that I tried was Web LLM. All right. Now, this is where you actually, I'm going to post a link to this as well. This is where your browser downloads a model, an AI model into your application. And then from there, you can interact with it. And so I was thinking, dope, download a model. And then and the important thing is that model has to be able to do what's called function calling or tool calling. So it needs to be able to understand from the prompt that you give it, like, hey, you're an agent and you have these set of tools. When somebody asks for something, you need to determine which tool to use and then execute that tool, right? So certain models, especially like smaller models, some of them don't have it. So that was like something I had to look up. And from what I've seen, Hermes does it. It's available. So that's what I'm using. I'm using Hermes 3 Llama 3.1 8B Q4F16_1 MLC. Terrible naming. I'm sure it means something to somebody. I know like this is like 8 billion parameters or something like that. So they have different sizes, right? And so depending on the size, depends on how long it takes to download it and for you to be able to use it. The issue last week was that I didn't do it beforehand and it took forever. So it took, and I think my internet, since I'm streaming, it takes a second because of the streaming and the bandwidth and everything. So it took like a couple of minutes to download it. And then any subsequent like refreshes, it loaded from cache, like you kind of saw before, which, let me just do that. So you can see, so it's loading it from parameters, and see loading model from cache. And it's going a lot faster. You see it's going the gigabytes of stuff here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 2, 3, it's a lot there, right? So it's loading that right now, and you see in like a few seconds. All right. So in 16 seconds, it loaded like 3 gigabytes or whatever. All right. So now, so I have this web LLM send. So this is like my chat, right? So I'm going to say, please add, I don't know, complete steps or something. I don't know. So I'm going to send to the web LLM. All right. So we do that. And now what's happening is that I need to add like a thinking or something here, but it's the web LLM is now thinking about, all right, what is this person trying to do? And then do I have any tools or what have you, right? And so with web LLM, especially like smaller models, you can probably see here it's retrying because it had like a weird thing, right? So I had to set it up to where it would have to retry. Like if I got something back weird, retry it. And see, again, it's again having a weird issue. Because a lot of it is the formatting. I tell it to format a certain way, it doesn't care. It's going to do whatever it wants. And so I have it retrying different loops. It's kind of a pain. You know what I'm saying? It was not that great of a experience to try and get it to be able to call tools properly. So it's kind of like it may call it properly, it may not call it properly. You know what I'm saying? You may, you know what? I think it's probably because I say add complete steps. And so it's probably trying to figure out, wait, you want to complete something? You know what I'm saying? So that's my bad. So again, you kind of have to massage the model, you know what I'm saying? And so, but as things progress, I think models are going to get better and better and better. All right. So it's still, yeah, I think it's having an issue. Yeah, see the name came up as get to do's, which shouldn't have been. So let's see. I kind of have to wait for it to finish. That's another issue. So in the UI, like this is just a test, again, a demo, just to kind of see where we are with these things. It's trying to get that worked out. Okay, well, while that's happening, right? Another way that I wanted to be able to test to try and call the website's tools through the web MCP was Prompt API. And Prompt API is a Google specific API. And it's part of their like built-in AI stuff, right? AI in Chrome or AI on Chrome. And so I'm going to, here's the documentation. I'm going to paste that so you can check it out there. And now this is the funny thing, because this is an origin trial. So this is like brand new stuff here, right? And so in order to do origin trial, you have to get like a key, and you put in the origin, the website that your application is running, so that it knows, okay, this will work with that, right? So I had to do that. And it's in Chrome 138, so it's been there around. So they're still fixing things. They're still working on it. So with it, this is basically Gemini Nano, like it says here, in the browser. So instead of having to install and download and install an external AI model like we did with the Hermes, right? It's built into the browser. So there is none of that. So it loads a lot quicker. All right. And so you can do like AI powered search, all within the contents. Like it says, answer questions based on the content of a web page. So stuff like that's kind of like what I'm doing, but I'm doing it through tools. So you're actually able to execute things in the site, not just like pull information. And so, yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff. So it has all these things here. Pretty cool, right? Now, the thing was that the way you register tools, let me see here. All right, so now you can see, so in my email, it wasn't working because the way you were registering tools through the web MCP previously was through something called provide context. And there was register tool if you want to do one tool. Then there was provide context, where if you want to just put in a bunch of tools all at once, right? So since I had 6 tools, I was like, all right, cool. I can just put them all through provide context in just one call. Well, that broke recently. So I got this email 2 days ago saying that a breaking change in the Web MCP API, the provide context and clear context are gone. They're all removed. And the reason, I mean, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So it says to improve the Web MCP API shape, we are removing the provide context and clear context, which is what I was using, method starting in Chrome 147. This change, detailed in issue whatever, addresses two primary architectural concerns. By clearing existing tools before registering new ones, provide context pose a security risk where third-party scripts could unintentionally or maliciously overwrite official tools and hijack user agent interactions, which again, that is very important, and that's definitely what you do not want to happen. And then feedback indicated that, like a delete all pattern with the clear context is unconventional in web APIs, which yes, I would agree with that. There's no like just delete everything. You know what I'm saying? You really have to meticulously kind of go through to make sure you're deleting what you want to do. And so developers preferred an additive model similar to add event listener, allowing scripts to manage their own registration independently. So yeah, so to maintain more granular and secure control, you should use register tool and unregistered tool methods according to the EPP documentation, which is the link, has been updated to reflect these changes, which is this thing here. All right, but by signing up again through the Web MCP is available, you'll be able to have access to all that. All right, so yeah, so Web MCP, it changed everything, right? Now, that really didn't have anything to do with the prompt API, but it broke my app when I did it. And because I was testing the prompt API, I'm like, why is this not working anymore? So I saw the error, and that's what it was. It didn't recognize provide context. So in my code, provide context, I left it in here. So yeah, so previously, I just had to do window navigator, model context, provide context, and I put in all the tools, right? My Web MCP tools. But now I have to like go through and just kind of like do a for each loop on it, which is, I mean, it's not that terrible. You know what I'm saying? So it got it to work. All right. So let's hopefully, okay. So yeah. So see, it failed after I gave it like 3 tries, and then it comes back, hey, there's an issue or whatever. Right. So let's just say I want to, I don't know, please add, I don't know, get demo running to the list. Just be very specific here. All right. So I'm going to do the web LLM again. All right. So let's see. Hopefully it will work, because you can kind of see like where things are. Web LLM, I'm hoping the models get better. And so what's pretty cool is that you don't really have to do much with it to be able to get it working. Let me see. That's prompt API stuff. We've got the, here it goes. When you initialize it, you just basically say the model that you want, and they have a list of the different models that you can select. And then you just have a new engine here, and then you set the model here. You reload it and put it in here, right? And that's so if you wanted to try another one, it's not like a whole big thing. You just change the name there. So that's pretty cool, right? And I appreciate that about it. Let's see if it actually worked. See, it's weird. It's going through the loop again. I was able to add like wash the dog with it earlier. That is weird. But I don't know. Oh, wait, what did it? Yeah, there we go. See, after a couple of tries, it actually did what I asked it to do. So you can see here, add agent use tool, add to do, and you hear get demo running. All right. It took a second. Now what it's doing is like replying. So it's going to like reply, and that also takes a second. And so that, I mean, there's more fine tuning that you kind of have to do, right? To get it really working the way you want. You know what I'm saying? But then with the prompt API, so while that's thinking, the prompt API is pretty cool because it's already built in to Chrome. So even if a person on another website and their thing loaded Gemini Nano, the prompt API, for your site now, since it's already in the browser, it doesn't have to go through to that initial download anymore, which is pretty dope. And so that's convenient. You know what I'm saying? And there's a whole bunch of other ones that you can try out now. So there's like the language detector API, translator, summarizer. There's like the writer and the rewriter. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. But for me, right now, I wanted to test the prompt API. All right. So with the prompt API, it has some, different things. So built-in models should be significantly smaller. The exact size may vary with updates. So it kind of tells you all the different things that you need to make it work, right? So now to use the prompt API, there's some tags and things you gotta make available and things. And then what you do is instead of like an engine with web LLM, you're actually creating a session. And so first you're doing like, is the thing available? You have to make sure it's available, right? And then there's like a user activation thing. So just like how a video with audio won't just randomly play, like the user kind of has to like interact with the site in order to kind of make it download. So whether it might be like clicking a button or doing some sort of interaction. And then you can see here, you create it, right? And then you have this monitor thing, and then you can download. It shows you the progress download. All right. And then you check for the availability. You see it's downloading. And then, yeah, like I said, there's some flags you need to put on there to enable it. And then you put in some different params if you want. You really don't have to. You can have use the baseline stuff. If you want to get more technical, you can do that there. And then here's that same create thing that was from before. Now, I think they might say it here, but you definitely want to put in the language that you're using. So that helps the model understand like the input language and then any output language. So it will like download the model. So it helps it understand like, okay, what they're asking is in English. So I can just focus on that. And then they want it outputted in Japanese or something. You know what I'm saying? They can work on that. Cool. And then you can put in like, initial prompts and things. You're a helpful and friendly assistant, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Pretty straightforward stuff. Pretty dope. Oh yeah. And then, add expected input and output. So, and it's also multimodal, which is pretty dope. So you can put in like images and audio. That's something definitely I want to play around with also. So all this in the browser, kind of amazing. So you can kind of see here, expected inputs, saying English and Japanese, but then expected outputs, you want it in Japanese. All right. A whole lot of cool stuff here. All right. And again, I posted a link to it, and so it'll be next. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did. It'll be next to the recording of the video on untilit.works. All right. So I got all that working, right? And so what's cool is the prompt API doesn't have like functional, like function or tool calling really, but in your prompt that you create, let me go to the prompt part. So in the prompt API, when I pass in the prompt, like right here, so I give it, I'm like, you are the brain of a to-do list application. All right. And AI helped me come up with this prompt thing. I'm terrible at prompt. I'm trying to get better. And so then I'm passing the available tools, which is what I had from before, right? And then the current state, so what is in the to-dos. And then I said, you must always respond with a valid JSON array of tool calls. Absolutely no plain text outside of the JSON array. So I'm being very specific on what I wanted to come out with, right? And then I ran into an issue like if I wanted to say, edit this or replace it, it didn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to tell it like, hey, if you come up with like they want to replace or edit something, you call the delete to do and then an add to do in the same array. So you delete the original and then you add the edited or what I wanted to replace it with. And then if user asks like a general questions or whatever, then that's when I added the reply to user. So it's kind of like you're kind of like going through, and instead of actually trying to code what a person may respond with or whatever, you're actually kind of just telling the AI agent, well, this person may do this, or whatever. And then actually how to answer with that stuff. All right, cool. And I pass that in to the messages. And then here again is where you see the session, and then we're creating it. Right. And then I have the expected inputs and outputs. It's just English for me. All right. And then I thought there was like a tools thing, but there wasn't. It was, I think I was having like AI help me. I think it hallucinated that. That didn't work. So cool. Because I thought it had tool calling, but it ends up it doesn't. But hopefully maybe at some point they'll have that. All right, so back to the actual thing. So yeah, so see, here is what the Hermes came back with, the built-in web LLM, right? The one that I downloaded, not built in, but the web LLM that we downloaded. All right, cool. All right, and then it came, and that's the thing. It comes back with random things. Even though I'll tell it, please don't come back with this stuff, it'll do it anyway. It does what it wants. All right, cool. Now let's try with the prompt API. All right, so with the prompt API is a little bit better than the web LLM as it is now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's built into Chrome, so they can do a little bit more things. But the thing is, if I try this in Firefox, it wouldn't work because Gemini Nano is not built. It's only for Chrome. All right. And I think other browsers will have their own, right? And with that, I'm hoping that it's the same like API. You know what I'm saying? As the prompt API. Hopefully, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's something you kind of have to worry about. All right. So now let's say I want to, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Please add research the prompt API, and then now I'm going to send that using the prompt API, right? So we'll see how that works. So please add research the prompt API. All right. And then some stuff up here came up with saying this page uses Chrome's built-in AI features language model. We're always improving our models. Please submit your feedback here. All right. Again, we're doing some like stuff here. And you see prompt API use tool add to dual. And now it's doing summarizing changes. And you saw that was a little bit quicker. It didn't have to retry it because the prompt that I put into it was so specific and it knew what it was doing. It knew like, hey, all right, this is what you want to do. There's no weird returning things not the way I want, all sorts of stuff. It just did it, right? And you can see even what came back, it didn't come back with a whole bunch of things. I told it not to do that. And it says, okay, I've added research the prompt API to your to-do list. You should see it in your list now. Awesome. You know what I'm saying? Research the prompt API. Now, what's cool is, so for me right now, if you're in Chrome and all your users are in Chrome or whatever, like the prompt API would be, for me, my first choice. If they're not in if they're not in Google and there's no prompt API available, they're not in that version yet, then I would maybe use like web LLM. You know what I'm saying? Try that and play around with the models and try to get, you know, one that works the way you'd like. And then web MCP, that's pretty cool. It's changing a lot, but being able to tell external MCP clients, you know what I'm saying, that, hey, I am trying to do this thing on this website, and the website can tell it what you can and can't do. That's pretty cool as well. You know what I'm saying? So that is all super awesome. And so now, okay. So one of the cool things you can do is that, so let's say, please add the ingredients. I think I did this last week, but I don't know. Ingredients to bake a chocolate cake as separate items in my list, right? So now I'm not telling it what ingredients. I'm just saying you figure out the ingredients. And since I'm in Chrome, I would first start off with prompt API. So let's see what that does. So please add the ingredients to bake a chocolate cake as separate items in my list. And so I think you guys see here some to-do stuff here, some console logs I've had there. So right now it's thinking, all right, what do I need? What do you need for a chocolate cake? All right. And then then it needs to figure out what tools. So since it's a bunch of them, it's going to have to do, you can see right here. So like it did add to do a bunch of times, and it's summarizing changes. And you can see here, buy flour, buy sugar, buy cocoa powder, buy baking powder, buy eggs, buy butter, buy vanilla extract. All right. And so it's summarizing the changes. So while it's doing that, say, let's see, I don't know. It's weird. It didn't add milk. Before it added milk or whatever. But then you can see here, it says, okay, I've added these things here. All right. Oh, so now let's say I purchased butter. So I purchased butter. All right, so I'm gonna do it with the prompt API. Oh, I purchased butter. Okay, I should have put I purchased. We'll see what happens. Oh, okay, no, okay, yeah, see, okay, I should have said I purchased butter. So I'm going to delete this because that was my bad, right? I also need to make this so it doesn't keep scrolling. All right, but yeah, I purchased butter. All right, let's see what it does there. Send in the prompt. So it should mark this as complete, hopefully. Yeah, see, bam, it knocked it out. So let's see here, toggle to do, summarize changes. So it recognized that, which is kind of amazing. So again, I didn't have to code any of that stuff. I just coded like the functionality. And then I'm like, all right, whatever the person says, let's try to make this happen. All right. So great. I've marked buy butter as completed for you. Cool. Real quick, just for my own thing. So I want to see like how knowledgeable it is. All right. So please list individually all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, let's see if that works. Please list individually all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we'll do a prompt. All right. That'd be kind of interesting. Again, I need to add like a thinking thing. Oh wow. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are Leonardo. Okay, but did it add it though? You didn't add it. Okay. So please add them to the list individually. So let's see if it still understands them. All right. I'm just kind of like just messing around with stuff now. So that's pretty cool. So it knows who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are. Okay, add to do, but it only added 3. No, see, it added buy milk, buy cheese, buy bread. So this is something I need to figure out because it didn't understand them. So I think I might not be refeeding in. Yeah, cause I think I was worried about model size, like the context window and token stuff. So I don't think I'm actually refeeding in previous messages. So that could be it. So it just looked at the to-do list and like, all right, you must want these random things or something. So yeah, so it hallucinated. That's weird. I want to get this to work. So please add the names of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles individually to my list. Let's see if that'll do that. So it probably has to go back and think again, since I didn't pass in. So there's all these different things you have to think about. You know what I'm saying? And but it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like it makes me think about like user interaction in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Oh, here we go. So did the 4, and there we go. Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo. So I guess it all kind of depends on how you want to do it. So that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm impressed. Oh, and so the next thing now is that, all right, so all these things are the tools that are in the browser, right? So it's calling all the different tools. All right, here we go. And it even adds like little like emoji things. It's kind of cool. So, all right, I've added Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo to your to-do list. They're all marked as needing to be added. Hope you're a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. See, it's just like the personality kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you can't really like just code that. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't. I don't know. Like that's pretty cool. It would take a lot to do that. I mean, and it just you load a model and you tell it what you give it its capabilities and it will do what it got to do. That's pretty dope. I don't know. We're headed to some wild stuff. All right. All that being said, so the next thing I'm working on, and I got it working already, is that all right. So we have tools here, right? And that's what you can do on the website. But what if it's like a frequently asked chatbot or maybe you want to ask questions about something that the website doesn't really know about, right? It's just showing some data. And if you want to ask a question about some data that's not really there and not really doing something to it, how would you be able to give that smarts to, let's say it's for like financial or healthcare. Let's say this is like a portal that you log into. So maybe you're checking, your 401k or whatever, and you want to know, hey, at my current rate, will I be good for retirement or something like that, right? And you want to ask questions like that. Well, the browser, like the website might not know that, but they may have like an external MCP server that has all that information and stuff in it. Kind of like how with Vonage, we have our documentation server that has all the information about everything about Vonage in there, about our APIs and everything in there, right? So how would I be able to get that external knowledge to the website, right? And so I've been playing around with making your chatbot the MCP client. You know what I'm saying? Instead of actually, like how you have the external one in your IDE or like Claude Code or any of the other stuff, you know what I'm saying, in your tools on the actual website. Because I mean, they have like browser-based like Claude, I think, Chat GPT, even like Google Gemini, right? But I wanted to have it in my own website. So I've been working on that. So that's a whole nother project. Maybe I'll show that next week. But I got it working. So I was able to get like a chat bot, right? It's an MCP client. And I'm using, what did I use? I think, did I use a prompt? I used something. It might have been like just a random model. I think it was a random model. I think it was like an open API model. I think I used, maybe. To, made an MCP client, used a model. I don't remember. This was like a couple of weeks ago. And I set up a external server. And I used the Vonage documentation server. And I was able to, in my web chat app, ask questions about the Vonage APIs. And it showed me it. And it was working and everything. So what I want to do now is combine the two. So I want to be able to add a web MCP client to this application, and then be able to point to an external one, probably the Vonage one or something, and use like Prompt API or the Web LLM to be the AI brains that will then be able to take. So if I ask it, for the to-do list, like, please list, I don't know, all the APIs that I would need to make this project work, or do something, or please list the steps I need to send an SMS message with Node or something like that. And it would kind of like list it out for me. You know what I'm saying? And at least that's what I'm thinking. So that way I can switch like the expertise of the application, you know what I'm saying, of the chatbot. And so if I wanted to switch to a financial thing, get a financial external server, you know what I'm saying, do that. For healthcare, an external thing. So, and I don't have to worry about all that stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then be able to call tools from that information, you know what I'm saying, and add it to whatever I need to do, or just respond to the person. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on next. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of amazing. It's pretty cool, the stuff you can do all in the browser. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty dope. And what's cool is it's all secure, because if it's your like portal, then you're like logged into it. And if you're using like Web LLM, since it's all in the browser, then you don't have to worry about random API calls to whoever or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's pretty, and same thing with the Prompt API. I think, I don't know, I'm not sure. I have to check into that more, but I think it's in the browser. I think they said that it is everything is within the browser. I'm pretty sure they said that. I think it was like one of the like the selling points or something, I think. But yeah, check it out for more of that. But I'm pretty sure it said something that it was all done within the browser, I think. And then this way, what's cool is that you're not really using like a bunch of data centers and all these other things. So you're kind of like taking a little bit of load off of that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all in the browser. Yeah, you know I mean, there's energy stuff, but still, the data centers also use energy as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, kind of moving some of that stuff to the browser, it seems like it'd be pretty cool, I think. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm just happy it worked. It took a couple of things, I'm saying, to make it work. Some things are still changing, but is getting there. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is kind of amazing to me. I'm amazed all the time. So all that being said, I'm gonna get y'all back to work because I spoke about this way too long, and I'm just happy it worked. All right. So let me stop sharing my screen so I can get y'all back to work. It's not, yeah, that's my bad. But when we come back, we'll take a look at an artist's website, listen to some music, watch some videos, maybe you'll become a fan. But for right now, I'm gonna send y'all off with some traveling music. This right here is Anthony Cruz, aka A Butter. The track's called Thank You. Thanks for hanging out. See you like 15 minutes after the hour, and y'all be easy. All right. Thanks again, y'all. Peace.
I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you for being there when the brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I feel like yeah. And everybody says yeah. We spread love like yeah. I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you for being there